Did you know that Intel makes dedicated GPUs? If you clicked on this video, I'd guess yes.
But what happens if you stick one of these in a Mac Pro 2019?
Well, that's what I'm here to answer, and it's, not good.
The Arc 770 I picked up is a Sparkle ROC OC edition, a brand that I have never heard of. OC of course stands for overclocked, and this is a modestly overclocked from the factory spec of 2.1 GHz to 2.3 GHz. ROC stands for I don't know, and I didn't bother to look it up. This should not come as a surprise that the Intel Arc 770 will not work in macOS and never was going to. macOS will see this as a generic display adapter, but it won't even be able to output unaccelerated video. In the early days of OS X, you could actually install drivers independent of the operating system. Crazy, right? Third-party drivers lasted until macOS 10.13 when Nvidia and Apple had a spat over drivers, and according to Nvidia, killed their ability to sign and ship drivers. In fact, Apple seems to have closed the ability for GPUs to be supported outside of what's included in the operating system. Intel is no exception, nor would there be much of a market for this GPU even if Apple supported it, seen as since 2013, Apple has only shipped exactly one computer with internal PCIe slots that can accept a GPU. Yes, I'm aware that external GPUs exist, but they have a pretty slim market share, and Apple, in the Apple Silicon era, only allows for iGPUs, which is great if you're Apple and sucks for everybody else. The Mac Pro 2019 is a monster with 8 PCIe slots, 1400 watt PSU, 1280 watts available to accessories, which can easily drive more than one GPU, provided they aren't GeForce 5090s.
As far as I know, no one stuck a GeForce 5090 into the Mac Pro 2019 because they're near unobtainium. That is the graphics card, not the Mac Pro. Those are easy to get. Maybe you could get 2 in there, who knows, but probably not.
My Mac Pro has a Radeon 6900 XT, and I'll be testing it against the Intel Arc 770 in Windows 10. I've been delaying upgrading to Windows 11 as long as humanly possible. Like most people, I'm not a huge fan, and I've experienced it on my Geekom mini PC. Anyhow, installing the Glitter overclock isn't anything special, except for I needed to move around some PCIe cards to make room, as I have a Sonnet 4x4 Silent, a Sonnet MacFiver, and a Sonnet Allegro Pro USB card.
Side note, I've made dedicated videos about all 3 of these cards, and they'll be linked in the description of this video. They're worth watching.
The MPX slots 1 and 3 on the Mac Pro have direct CPU access, meaning they are not behind the Platform Controller Hub, the PCH, thus reducing latency and providing the best performance. So here I am, sticking the Shimmer Pixie Dust in the slot 3 while my 6900 XT remains in slot 1. I've already spoiled that you can't get a picture of macOS, but I did overload my PCI Pool B in my Mac Pro 2019. The Mac Pro 2019 has 2 PCIe pools. The goal is to balance the PCI load for maximum performance. This won't affect much for what I'm doing in this video, as the GPUs are in Pool A and the rest of the cards, including the SSDs, are on Pool B. I will be only accessing one SSD at a time, so I can safely ignore this without any noticeable real-world impact. Long term, you'd probably want to correct this. Alright, in Windows, AMD Screen Capture utility won't launch, so I'm pointing my camera at the screen. I've had this problem before with multiple GPUs. Trying Hardware Manager didn't work for finding drivers, and it never seems to. I went to Intel's site to grab the ARC drivers for the TwinkleStar A770, which gives you an interesting choice between the WHQL drivers, aka gaming drivers, and professional drivers. As everyone knows, this is a hardcore elite competitive gaming channel. You don't even know about Apple Arcade. I bet you haven't even played Sneaky Sasquatch. I went with the gaming drivers. The Intel Arc GPUs are interesting as they make heavy use of resizable bar, aka base address register, often abbreviated as rebar. This is a PCIe feature that enhances how CPUs can access GPU memory, allowing for larger pools of GPU memory to be accessed by the CPU. Both AMD and Nvidia support resizable bars, although AMD brands their resizable bars as Smart Access Memory, so they could make a cute acronym, SAM, which totally has never been associated with surface-to-air missiles. In the early days of Intel Arc GPUs, it might be a bit different in the new drivers. They all but required rebar support. Users noted how abysmal the performance was if their CPU did not support rebar, like in this Reddit thread. After searching the internet, I can't tell if the Mac Pro 2019 supports resizable bar. I mean, it should, as the Cascade Lake CPUs do, but Apple be Apple and does whatever the fuck it wants. The driver should complain if I do not have this feature, so this will be a fun gamble. The driver is installed without hitches, and I didn't even need to reboot, which surprised me. I didn't see any message about enabling rebar, so I guess the Mac Pro 2019 supports it. Actually, I got smart and I was able to answer this using GPU-Z. It does not. That is your official answer, and it'll go in the definitive Mac Pro upgrade guide. You just might be able to enable this using OpenCore. Maybe I'll make a follow-up video in the future about this. Since I do not have a third monitor, I figured I'd use a HDMI capture device to allow me to use my MacBook Pro as a display. To be clear, this is a terrible idea for anything serious as you get severe latency. Now for some benchmarks comparing the Bedazzle Pebble A770 versus the Gigabyte 6900 XT. This is not a benchmarking video, so we're going to keep this pretty short. Here's the ever popular Geekbench 6. For compute, these are just different classes of cards. And that was always going to be the case because the 6900 XT MSRP'd at double the price. And even at the time, the 6900 XT wasn't that strong of a compute card. When we bounce over to 3D Mark, the gap closes quite a bit. I need to call special attention to Steel Nomad because that's the ray tracing benchmark, and it illustrates just how far behind AMD was at ray tracing for this generation. The RX 770 is not competitive with the 6900 XT, which is completely expected. Now for the fun part, why you do not want to stick this card in your Mac Pro 2019. Whenever my Mac Pro 2019 went to sleep, I'd come back to find the RX 770 went into full leaf blower mode. Even a reboot did not stop the sleep issue. I'm not sure if the problem is this model I bought from Sprinkles, but it is what it is. You would never want to put your Mac Pro to sleep with this GPU installed. I figured it's finally time to boot back into macOS, except it would crash during the boot process. As much as it pains me to say, I think I'm growing as a YouTuber because this next section I cut way down. It was way too long, but I still wanted to leave just enough in so you could see how I was able to get my Mac Pro 2019 back into a working state. I tried booting off multiple drives at NVRAM reset, yanking out all the internal hardware, and even a DFU Restore, as I thought maybe the GPU drivers goofed up my firmware. DFU, aka Device Firmware Update, or Don't Fiddle Unnecessarily, is a special recovery mode that allows for a complete firmware reset. Oh, the process? Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. It requires running the Apple configurator on a separate Mac, connecting the Mac Pro via its DFU port using a USB-C cable, and then using the application to restore the firmware. Oh, you don't have a secondary Mac? Apple just doesn't understand those peasant words. To boot into the DFU Restore, it's a little strange as you have to unplug your Mac Pro, press and hold the power button, then plug in your Mac Pro while still holding down the power button. This will not cause the computer to boot, but it will be detectable on another Mac. Apple Configurator can cause a bit of grief, and I got to experience it once again. My Mac Pro showed up with a giant lock, which wasn't what I wanted to see. It gave me a confusing message that the configurator cannot prepare this type of device, and goes on to say some stuff about Apple TVs and iOS. That seems like it's incorrect. When I tried to update it, it said a software update was required for this device. Not a big deal, right? You just update the app and relaunch it and then rerun it and try restore anyway. Configurator could not perform the requested action. As someone who had some exposure to this utility, I had my suspicions. Literally, I needed to update the OS just so I could perform the DFU Restore. And why, you ask? Fuck if I know. Apple doesn't feel any obligation to explain itself. Once I updated my M1 Max to the latest release of Sonoma, it picked up my Mac Pro 2019 and I was able to do the DFU Restore. However, this didn't change a damn thing. I needed to try and install macOS on a fresh drive. Fortunately, Orico, I hope I said their name right, sent me another SSD, a 2TB IG740 Pro, targeted for industrial use and has a built-in heatsink. And if I understand this correctly, this is a PCI 4.0 TLC DRAMless SSD, which uses a pseudo SLC cache where some of the SSD cells operate in a SLC mode for faster read and write. This SSD has a few less common features like power loss protection, controlled BOM and firmware, and supposedly a higher MTBF, aka mean time between failures. Orico SSDs are becoming my go-to budget brand now that I've received 2 of them and bought one with my own money. The IG740 is absolutely perfect for the external enclosure Zike sent me, a really nice USB 4.0 case, aka it uses Thunderbolt. I've had this for a bit and I didn't know when I'd use it, but I have a reason today. It's a very fast case and I've seen a few of my YouTube friends using these guys. It's heavy duty, not plastic, and it comes with a interesting cable holder, the shortest Thunderbolt cable I've ever seen. Thankfully, it comes with a normal length cable too. I'll do some benchmarking later, but I think this SSD with power loss protection and probably a little more durability is ideal for an external case. As always, every word is my own. I'm not paid by these companies or making commissions, and I actually have some products that I will never feature in my videos because they are trash. I spent too long talking about these 2 guys, but I went this route because it saved me the annoyance of having to open my Mac Pro 2019 repeatedly, and I have a fresh SSD. It shouldn't come as too much surprise, but since I was able to boot into recovery mode, I was able to install Monterey onto my external drive, and it booted. So my Mac Pro 2019 wasn't completely fucked. Even better, the data on the drives was still there. Before risking my main boot drive, I decided to use Migration Assistant to copy all my data to my external SSD and then reinstalled macOS in place on my main boot drive. That fixed all my issues and my Mac Pro 2019 is working again. Now, I'm not entirely sure what busted my 2 bootable macOS drives. I did update the drivers for the AMD Radeon, but I've done that oodles of times over the years and never had a single problem. I did my usual checking of the crash logs, but it wasn't very helpful. Right now, without really any evidence to speak of, I'm blaming the Intel drivers. I suspect it caused maybe a firmware issue for macOS. Perhaps merely the act of trying to boot any macOS caused a minor volume corruption where disk utility was unable to detect or fix it. Then after the DFU Restore, my Mac Pro had the evil ROC Spears exercise from it and I was able to restore my Mac Pro, but that's just a wild guess. Whatever the case, somewhere between installing the Arc 770 drivers in Windows 10 and trying to reboot to macOS caused me a great deal of headaches. This is going to come as a bit of a shocker, but I'm not much of a Windows guy. That doesn't mean I'm Windows stupid, and in fact, I don't mind Windows. So I'd love to hear people's crazy theories as to what they think went wrong in the comments, because surely someone has a better idea than me. Plenty of people run unsupported GPUs in these computers, so it's really surprising that this guy doesn't work. But I'm just not going to stick it back into my Mac Pro because it was a pain getting everything back to working order again. And I'm definitely not going to risk my Mac Pro 2008, although I have a feeling it's less at risk because it doesn't use iBoot and T2 nonsense. I thought it'd be fun to hang on to this GPU as it's one hell of an encoding card in Windows, but I'd have to get a GPU enclosure to use it with my mini PC. Now for a quick benchmark of the Orico drive inside the Zike case. With amorphous disk mark, we're seeing near internal speeds. Now here's the Orico 770 that's inside my Mac Pro for comparison. The internal drive is a bit faster, but it is also designed for more speed, whereas the 740 is designed for reliability. Yeah, I realize I keep bouncing between saying Orico and Orico. I don't know how you say this company's name. As previously mentioned, the IG740 does not have DRAM, which is usually a negative, but fairly common for power loss protection drives. But to make this more interesting, I connected it to my M4 Pro. Now we're seeing speeds that are right on the rails of what USB 4 can even achieve. As always, you're going to see some weird benchmarks where things don't completely line up. Now, if you want to see why you should buy a quality SSD, here's the Team Group MP33 inside the Zike case. You get about double the performance for about $20. The Zike enclosure is pretty amazing as you get damn near internal speeds. So what did we learn about the Arc A770? Don't stick one of these in a Mac Pro 2019. I doubt there's anyone who's terribly tempted by them, as it's only mildly faster than the 6600 XT, which you can find those for about half the price. They have better Linux drivers, Mac OS support, and of course Windows too. As always, thanks to my Patreon members. You can see their names here. And also I've created a web server using Raspberry Pi and my NAS. So that's something. I'm going to stick up a bunch of Apple resources there so people can download them. It'll be for even free members too.